Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I kindly ask you to stand up to welcome His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco. Your Serene Highness, Minister of State, President of the National Council, Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ReOcean Fund launch event. The ocean absorbs 25% of all CO2 emissions, making it the largest carbon sink, or at least an important carbon sink, a vital buffer against the impacts of climate change. Protecting our oceans is hence a pillar in the effort to create a more sustainable future. Today, the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation and Monaco Asset Management are thrilled to announce that they are coming together, joining forces to launch the ReOcean Fund, a private equity fund dedicated to supporting Sustainable Development Goal number 14, which, as you all know, is protecting life below water. How? By investing in high-impact, innovative companies who not only reduce key sources of pollution in the ocean and transform the way we produce blue foods and travel the ocean, but also companies who protect marine ecosystems and provide robust data to stakeholders. Now, all of this information that you will be hearing here on stage, you will find it on the fund's website, reoceanfund.com. This is therefore a pre-launch event, if you will, a first peek into what's set to become a catalyzer of the next generation of blue innovations. This event is happening, as you all know, as part of the Monaco Ocean Week, which started yesterday and is running until April the 26th, excuse me. And it offers a unique platform not only for discussion and experience sharing, but also for tech experimentation. Without further ado, please welcome His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco.
Thank you, Mr. Minister of State, Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you for being here today for the launch of this important initiative, the Monaco ReOcean Fund. For us, it is invaluable to see your support, your commitment, as well as that of the entities that you represent. The ocean needs us. The ocean needs you. It needs you because it is in danger due to our activities, human activities. And because the dangers it faces also threaten the entire natural balance of our world. The ocean needs you because humankind is increasingly relying on it to provide food, to find new resources, to create a new development paradigm. The ocean needs you because it will not be able to respond to these needs if we are unable to demonstrate innovation in order to bring about a genuine blue economy. We need to learn how to use the seas more efficiently by drawing on sound scientific expertise, by being creative and showing audacity, and of course by getting economic players involved. Such is the purpose of the Monaco Ocean Week. This event is very much a part of it. And every year, the Monaco Ocean Week offers diverse and complementary experts the opportunity to meet, to exchange views, and to work together on new and sustainable solutions. And this is the purpose of the ReOcean Fund we are launching here today. In order to pool new resources for the future of our seas, and which will be the result of a partnership between Monaco Asset Management and my foundation. Whether the future is placed under the label of irresponsible predation, destruction of ecosystems, pollution, and global warming, or on the contrary provides an opportunity to regenerate the ocean, to foster its resilience, to protect the most sensitive areas, and to help mitigate the effects of global warming more effectively, it is up to us, collectively. There's no shortage of projects for this, whether it be aquaculture, sustainable fishing, renewable energies, the creation of marine protected areas, the reduction of sources of pollution, or the development of various products and molecules derived from algae, among others. There's no shortage of energies either, as we have seen throughout the course of this week, and we will see in the days to come. The various workshops, the various discussion groups and seminars that are organized. So I hope that there will be no shortage of ideas, as there will be no shortage of resources, and that today we will be able to mobilize them thanks to this ReOcean Fund. I thank you very much for your presence here today. Let's make this work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Highness. I'd now like to introduce someone who can testify to the importance of ocean preservation firsthand, as she is herself a marine biologist. Mina Epps is the director of the Ocean Program at the International Union for Conservation of Nature, which is a membership union uniquely composed of, on one hand, government, but also civil society organizations. Over at the IUCN, she oversees the operations and development of the program by seeking new partnerships, new strategic partnerships. Mina is also very much engaged in the global ocean agenda, participating in various management groups, boards, and high-level networks. Please welcome Mina Epps.
Monseigneur, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mina Epps, and it's really my pleasure and honor to be here. So thank you very much for the Prince Albert Foundation for the invitation to come here to give you a few words on the state of our ocean. But we want everybody to leave this room as true, not just ocean champions, but ocean optimists. So we know that we heard more about the importance of the ocean. IUCN recognizes this. We have a long-standing relationship with the Prince Albert Foundation, who has supported a lot of our important work that we do. We have an ocean ambition, really to address the decline of marine biodiversity, to restore marine biodiversity in the ocean that we are so dependent on. It's seen about a 40% decline in the last 50 years. We also work on not just the protection and conservation, but also the sustainable use, and really to try to look at unlocking potentials and sustainable blue economy that's based on principles of equity. We also then try to look at the ocean, emerging science in terms of, ocean's key role in our planetary stability. So we know that the ocean, we know that it occupies 70% of our planet, but it's actually much more than that. If you think about it as the ocean space, 3-dimensional or 4-dimensional, it's more than 90%, almost 95% of our planet. So we need to protect it. We've heard an excellent examples of the services that the ocean provides, like absorbing the excessive CO2, absorbing excessive heat, but 90%. If we didn't have the ocean, we'd be 36 degrees warmer. But ocean acidification, yes, it has absorbed more than almost a third of CO2, but we don't want the ocean to continue to provide these kind of services. So we really need to kind of think about what is it that we have to do. We know overfishing is one of the major problems of our ocean. Still, a third of fish stocks are overfished. Plastic pollution, the millions and trillions of tons that are being dumped into the ocean, breaking up. And even if we stop producing all plastic today, the plastic will still be in the ocean for generations to come, with implications. ReOcean was actually one of the pioneers to do a study to look at the implications of plastic pollution, micro and nanoplastic in the Arctic. And it actually had an effect on the ice formation and ice melting. So plastic pollution can also exacerbate the negative impacts of climate change. So the climate change impact, we talked about ocean acidification, ocean warming, but also deoxygenation. So our ocean is becoming ultimately more breathless, sour, and warmer. And deoxygenation, a change in 1 or 2% on average, might not seem like a big deal. But there can be regional differences with deoxygenation hypoxic zones, which have 30 or 40%. We've talked, and that has implications, particularly on our commercial species like tuna. Tuna are fast-swimming species. They need oxygen-rich waters. So we're seeing a migration of species from the equator to the polar regions. They are migrating to more nutrient-rich waters that actually, or colder water that holds more dissolvable oxygen. So that is the strange that we have all this cocktail of multi-climate stressors on our ocean. Marine heat waves, we know about it on land. It happens in the ocean. A marine heat wave is an excessive, as a mass of water which is warmer than average temperature for a longer period, and it moves. So you can have this bulb of water hitting the coast, and that will have implications for businesses. If you're an aquaculture industry, you don't want to put out your seedlings if a marine heat wave is on its way. So, with that said, we need to restore our ocean health. And by doing that, we need to, firstly, remove the threats, build resilience, and enhance recovery, and we need to do that fast. And we need to be creative. We need to be creative. As Albert Einstein said, after all, creativity is intelligence having fun. So we need all of you here, not just with your bright ideas, minds, but we need also that capital. We need to basically have that early investment. So we need to look at what are the solutions for our ocean going forward. There are a lot of things that are still unknown. We're talking about the deep seabed floor, which actually, we're talking about unlocking potentials. We don't want to unlock the carbon that's stored in our sediments. So I think that it's really, really key to work together on the early investment bankable project. ReOcean, we have a Blue Natural Capital funding facility that's worked with developers from all over the world to really make bankable smaller project. But we need all kinds of investments going in from the early stage and so we can bring this to scale and talk about nature-based solutions. So I think that we really, really, really need to come together, and it's great to see that so many investors, philanthropists are here in the room and really looking more into the ocean space, because the blue economy is the fastest growing economy that we currently have. So we need to actually really capitalize on that, but make sure that we do it in a sustainable way. We need to basically unlock the potential, but make sure that's there. So bringing more of this capital to venture capitals, bringing forward ideas, and I think is really, really welcome to have this ReOcean fund. And a warm congratulations to you all. And we look forward to continue to collaborate with you and to see all these amazing solutions that will come to develop in the ocean space. A survey actually revealed that 9 out of 10 investors are willing to invest in the ocean, but they don't really know how to do it. So we need to think about creative ways, whether it's seaweed, we've got kelp, very vulnerable. One marine heat wave knocked out 95% of the kelp ecosystem in Tasmania. So it's urgent, and we need to fast track it and accelerate it. And once again, really my honor to be here with you today on behalf of IUCN, and thank you so much for the invitation and for your pioneering work. The Prince was actually, His Highness was one of the first to pioneer and really get the message out on ocean acidification. So we really thank you for that support. Thank you so much. And last but not least, 2/3 of the ocean we cannot forget is the high seas. We are just really here to celebrate that we finally have a treaty that will allow us to create marine protected areas in the high seas to reach that goal of 2030. And to make sure that no human activity goes ahead without sound environmental impact assessment. So we have a lot of work, so the journey begins now, but let's also take a moment to celebrate. It's long overdue, the high seas, we need it, because what happens out there affects us in the coast, and about 1/3 of the population lives on the coastlines. So once again, thank you very much, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mina Epps, for your insightful presentation. Now, you all know now that the ReOcean Fund is really a unique collaboration between, on one hand, a solid fund and the other, an experienced foundation. To give you some background, Monaco Asset Management was founded in 1999, and it specializes in discretionary and advisory asset management for both institutional and private clients. With 6 billion euros under management, Monaco Asset Management is really a benchmark in the Monegasque financial market. And while investing across a large array of asset classes, MAM has spent really the last 7 years in developing its private equity practice. And in that area specifically of private equity, MAM has more than 1 billion euros committed capital and has concluded over 40 direct investments. Meanwhile, the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation was founded by His Serene Highness in 2006. It's a global NGO that's dedicated to progressing planetary health for both present and future generations. The goal, of course, is to also promote a new relationship with nature and the innovations that can trigger that change. And it works in 3 main geographical areas, the Mediterranean basin, the polar regions, and also the least developed countries. Let's now dig a little bit deeper into the vision behind this new project. Please welcome Olivier Wenden, Vice President of the Foundation, and Anthony Toriani, Founder and CEO of MAM. Thank you very much to the both of you to be here on stage with us today. We've just heard Mina Epps, really share her vision on ocean conservation, and also highlight the necessity to really value the services that it provides to human well-being as well, not only on the coast but also elsewhere. Before we dig into the details of the ReOcean Fund, Olivier, could you please tell us a little bit more about how the foundation throughout the years has helped safeguarding the oceans?
Yes, well, thank you very much, Julia, and thank you to you all for joining us today for this very important moment in the development of the life of the Foundation. We know your commitment to Monaco, we know your commitment to the Foundation, and so your presence here today is very appreciated, but also extremely meaningful. So once again, thank you very much. But to come back to your very direct question, my answer is quite simple. Ocean is in the DNA of Monaco and of the Foundation under your leadership, Your Serene Highness. Monaco is indeed an early mover when it comes to understanding and protecting ocean, the global ocean. Ocean conservation is also at the crossroads of the Foundation mission statement, which is about addressing climate change, protecting biodiversity on land and at sea, but also preserving sustainable access to water resources globally. So since the inception of the foundation back in 2006, we have already supported 752 projects on the ground for a total amount of 100 million euros. So yes, you understood correctly, 752 projects on the ground for a total amount of 101 million euros in grants. That's quite a lot. And I would add that one of the main drivers of the foundation action is clearly bringing science to policy. And to achieve this goal, we have been working extensively with the most relevant scientific centers, universities, and leading organizations. So when you ask me precisely, what do you do to safeguard the ocean? The list is quite long. First and foremost, we fund research. And I'm happy that the foundation and the government of Monaco funded the red list of IUCN in that matter. We support the development of marine protected areas. We fight against climate change. We protect emblematic species at stake, like the bluefin tuna, the monk seal. But we also promote the emergence of new talents through grants programs, and the emergence of innovation through the Ocean Innovators platform that will be launched this afternoon. So I would say that over the past 17 years of existence, we have built quite a good track record of projects and achievements, quite a strong reputation and experience, if you allow me to, and also, above all, a very solid network of international partners, from scientists to decision makers, from representatives of NGOs to business leaders as well.
Now, historically, the foundation has really supported NGOs mostly. Why the sudden turn towards a fund?
Well, you are right. The foundation is a philanthropy, and yes, the majority of our activities is dedicated to supporting NGOs. And I would insist on the fact that philanthropy plays indeed a key role, and namely in bridging the gaps between the public and the private sectors. However, and the however is massive, philanthropy will not be enough to address the vast, the daunting and complex ocean challenges. Clearly not enough. And let me take just one striking figure. Only 1% of the global funding goes to SDG 14. 1% of global funding goes to SDG 14. And the last assessment of the World Economic Forum in its report, the 2022 one, the world needed to invest $175 billion per year until 2030 to achieve this goal. And the reality is tragic. In 2019, we only invested 10 billion euros on SDG 14. So again, philanthropy will not be enough to fill this phenomenal gap. So at the foundations, we have indeed two top priorities, again, scaling up, accelerating the existing solutions for a healthy ocean. And to do that, we need the private sector. Innovative solutions, blue tech, these are driven by the private sector indeed. I'll give you another example. We've launched in 2020 with the Paul G. Allen Family Foundation and Vulcan a blended finance mechanism. That's the Global Fund for Coral Reefs. So yes, there is a grant window working like traditional philanthropy, but there is also an investment window to help deploy the funds into existing companies. So to sum it up, I would say that with this positive experience, combined with the vast network of companies we have identified, plus, and Mina reminded us today, the political momentum, the High Seas Treaty, the 30 by 30, the plastic treaty that might come up, and also the extraordinary economic opportunities that Anthony will detail in a second, these three elements combined indeed convinced us that it was the right moment to launch a private equity fund with the leading asset management company in Monaco.
Well, thank you very much. And Mina, it was a very inspiring call to action, a very optimistic call to action. And I'm super happy to hear that 9 out of 10 investors want to invest in our fund. So thank you for that. Please give me their names and numbers, and I'll start with that. Yes, we hope many of you are in this room, actually. We heard from Olivier about the accomplishments of the foundation over these last 17 years, and they're absolutely amazing. And so I just want to thank Your Highness, Olivier, the foundation, for trusting us with that legacy. And we will definitely be working to make sure that we meet the history that you've already achieved. For us at MAM, well, we're totally committed to impact investing. We've been doing so for some time, very much under the let's call it, chapeau of our Minister of Finance, Mr. Castellini. It's a big factor in finance in Monaco to be working towards durable finance and sustainable finance, and this is just one episode or one example of that, and I think the whole government is committed to it. I think, I really agree with Olivier that systemic change can only occur by supporting and helping catalytic private sector companies to achieve their missions. I think philanthropy, as you mentioned, is definitely very valuable. There's no doubt about it. It's part of the arsenal. But the multiplier effect comes from capital meeting innovation, meeting entrepreneurialism. If we get that multiplier effect, I think we've had examples of that in the technology sector. And I see no reason, as Mina said, the blue economy is the fastest growing economy in the world. Why not do the same thing in the blue economy that we've already achieved in technology? And I'm very much hopeful that this capital will go in that direction.
Now, Olivier, will the fund target specific sectors, and what do you think should be our priority today?
Well, yes, indeed, we will target sectors. And again, after analyzing the market, but also the positioning of Monaco and of the foundation, we have identified 5 verticals of investment, 5 sectors for which we believe there is a funding gap, but also with an interesting market size and an important growth. And these sectors are sustainable blue food, plastic pollution, green shipping, ocean data, and of course, ocean protection and restoration.
Now, Anthony, what kind of companies would you suggest then?
Well, there's a very active ecosystem in seed and in early stage ocean finance. What we are seeing now is some of the companies are graduating from that ecosystem and they're becoming more mature, more robust. And those are the companies, the larger companies, that we would like to support. We think they've got a proven business model, and we think they can make a big change and affect big change. And so from a sectoral point of view, we'll be looking at the larger sort of B-series type of investments. It's also important to know that this is not a fund of funds, and we are not a private equity fund. What we are is co-investing. We're co-investing with an ecosystem and a universe of funds that already exist. And that's a very important, and from our mapping of the market at this point, we've been able to identify already 50 funds that are involved in our verticals, and they have 500 companies which are suitable for investment for our type of approach. So I think the expansion of that was going to give us more and more opportunities going forward.
Now, this is something we're going to touch on later on during several discussions and roundtables. Why is it so important to embark the local community?
Well, precisely,
the local ecosystem.
I understand, and precisely because these verticals align perfectly with the foundation's projects, but also impact priorities. But they also align with the local ecosystem. And if I may, what's a better proof of concept than the Monaco Ocean Week itself, which has revealed Monaco as a hub for ocean conservation and blue tech around the government of Monaco, Monaco Tech, the foundation, of course, the Oceanographic Institute, the Scientific Center of Monaco, and the Yacht Club of Monaco. All these Monaco-based entities have revealed a major competitive advantage when addressing ocean challenges, research, and innovation. So what we strongly believe, is that many opportunities will arise to implement here in Monaco some of the solutions that the companies funded by the fund would have developed. But in addition, we also believe that the blue tech companies based in Monaco will benefit for their development and growth from the fund itself. So the big picture here is really to find a full coherence in Monaco, or in other words, to walk the talk on preserving ocean health.
Now, Anthony, could you be a little bit more specific on the actual characteristics of the fund?
Yes, of course, we're going to be investing directly into companies, and these will all be in the 5 verticals that we follow. The fund will have an expected size of 100 million euros. We will have a term of 10 years, fairly classic private equity term. We'll have an investment period of 5 years, and we intend to invest in chunks of 3 to 5 million, which would imply 15 to 20 companies, which also allows us some follow-on capital for any new investments into the companies we've invested in. Geographically, we are concentrated, of course, where the most funds are, which is in Western Europe, in the North America, and the United States. But we're totally open to investment in any of the global areas, wherever the opportunities arise. We'll be looking at that opportunity.
So it's, just to sum it up, a 100 million target fund with an investment size average of about 5 million in the 5 verticals that Olivier was just detailing a minute ago. How do you intend to work together with these 2 different expertise that are coming together?
Well, the methodology is clearly based on the 2 complementary expertise. So yes, the fund was co-designed and will be co-managed between MAM and the foundation. And as far as the foundation is concerned, we will open our network of scientists and technical experts in the 5 verticals mentioned. And by doing so, we want science to remain at the heart of the due diligence process. And this is very central in our approach. Science at the heart of due diligence. We will also offer to the fund a growing network of our ocean innovators community, and I see very familiar faces in this room, so I hope and I'm wishing that we'll be collaborating a lot all together. And of course, Monaco Asset Management will bring the financial expertise, but I'm sure Anthony will say it better words than I could.
Well, thank you very much again. I think Julia mentioned, we've $1 billion committed to private equity, 40 investments we've made in direct investments. In doing so, we've created the infrastructure, the personnel, the staff, the network, etc., that allows us, we believe, to participate in sourcing new investment and due diligencing new investment. So that'll be our principal function, is actually finding the investments that the funds are doing and co-investing with them. Subsequently, of course, it is a fund, and there's going to be an operational aspect to that as well, which is very important. So we at MAM have created funds in the past, so we're familiar with the structural issues, the challenges. We're familiar as well with, the need to choose world-class counterparties for administration, for custody, for all the different functions that exist. So we have a long experience in that, and that'll be a very, very important function. But I don't want to believe that at any point we, just the 2 organizations, think that we can do this alone. In fact, we're surrounded by a great network and a virtuous circle of consultants, for instance. We're working with Impact, we're working with Systemic, we're working in due course with the Oceanographic Museum, and we're working with top 4 consulting companies, McKinsey and Bain. We have a tremendous access to this information through the network of the foundation, and so I think it's important to know that we will always be relying on experts for that, and of course to our expert committees and our impact committees. And finally, of course, the most important, let's say, partner to MAM will be the funds with whom we invest. These funds are bringing immense resources, they're bringing capital, they're bringing expertise, and we're going to benefit and leverage from that capital. So, thank you.
Thank you. Olivier, the aspect of governance is also key. Could you perhaps detail that aspect specifically?
Absolutely, Anthony, you just tackled that question a bit, but just to sum it up, governance is always fundamental, and the fund will be structured around 3 governing bodies: an impact committee consisting of experts in the 5 verticals, an investment committee, of course, but also an advisory committee gathering high-profile personalities to help us source the best economic and financial opportunities.
Now, you were saying that the fund will be on impact, right? It's going to be based on trying to measure that impact. We know how difficult it is. What will be your methodology?
Well, again, it's difficult, but it's central. So we carefully designed this impact measurement framework to guarantee to comply to the highest regulatory standards. 2 points here. First of all, to make sure that the fund will contribute to its own environmental objectives, first and foremost, but also that the fund will invest in companies with a very good governance standards. And again, we attach so much importance to the environmental impact of the investment that we decided to grant a veto right to the impact committee over the investment committee. In other words, it means that if a doubt exists on a potential harmful impact of an investment on marine ecosystems, or should we have a social or ethical question, the investment will simply not occur. So as Anthony said, we will not be working on our own here, and we will also collaborate with Impact Group, a specialized finance impact firm. And Impact Group will for instance, lead the monitoring and reporting activities such as the Impact Annual Report. Last but not least, this impact measurement framework will be harmonized with key performance indicators as part of the Ocean Impact Navigator, which is a newly developed tool by 1,000 ocean startups linked to the World Economic Forum.
Now, I said this in the introduction, but this is almost a pre-launch event. What lies next in the coming weeks or months to come?
Well, in the second quarter, we'll finalize terms and conditions, and we'll finalize the structural issues of the fund. And in the third quarter, we'll begin to fundraise. We'll do a soft close at around 60 million euros sometime in the fourth quarter. Of that 60 million euros, at least 50% and probably 2/3 is already committed. We will subsequently look to do a final close in 2024, sometime in the third or fourth quarter of 2024. And we're very, very excited by this. We think that the economic potential for investors is immense. We think that the impact it'll have on the oceans is also immense. So we really encourage anybody in this room, you may be investors, you may be funds, you may be individual companies. My CIO, Jeremy Jeunet, is here. I'm here. Olivier is here. Please contact us. We need to be in touch with you, and we need to prepare to invest this money in the fourth quarter of 2023. So thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I will say, let's go. The moment is right now, and we know the urgency. 2030 targets is in less than 7 years. We need to act now. I think we've got the right partners, the right tools, the right potential partners. And let me already thank those of you who have already expressed a strong interest in joining us in this tremendous endeavor. It's really appreciated. Thank you to all of you who decided to join us today to hear more about the ReOcean Fund. So we'll be happy, Anthony and I, to pursue the conversation during cocktails served on the terrace of this beautiful venue. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you so much, Your Highness, for your participation, and Ministry of State. Thank you for your attention, and thank you very much, Julia.
Thank you as well. Thank you.